Hello and welcome to the Music is Therapy podcast. My name is Alan Ralston. We're doing a wee bit different this evening. We've got a co-host and we've got a friend here, Scott Cunningham, and we've got Lincoln down there as well, his guide dog, so it's a few firsts tonight. The podcast was set up to bring people in and sit down, have a conversation and explore what music means to them and how it's impacted their life, and to encourage people as well as myself to maybe be introduced to new albums, new music, and just to encourage you to sit down and listen to an album. Because there's loads of studies out now. Your man Huberman, one of the biggest podcasts in the world, he had a podcast out recently talking about how music's the only thing that lights up the entirety of our brain, through the limbic system right through to the cortex and the left and the right hemispheres. It affects everything, from the emotions to the motor skills to the cognitions, and everything is affected. Your heart rate as well, so it's affecting us in a body and a mental way. And he was on that podcast that spoke about like the music existed before language as well, which I thought was fucking incredible. That it's something that's very innate within us, and it's got the power to heal and just help ground us for time to time when life's coming at us thick and fast. So it's a wee celebration of that. And it's a recognition of how important music is. I think sometimes it can get lost in today's social media, in today's Spotify's and YouTube and stuff. I find myself with too much options, then I'll just not listen to nothing at all. And I think for me it's been good for just to start an album and listen all the way through to that. So hopefully encourage the listeners to return to the music I love, or be introduced to some new albums and new artists and stuff like that. So and it's a way here. What we're going to do tonight, man, we're going to explore Scott's life a wee bit, on the impact, and I think there's many greater examples of how music has helped an individual deal with the turbulence and the challenges that life's brought on. How through music we can ride the waves, and sometimes we can transcend the problems that life has gave us it, and coming out the other side and there are fine examples to us all. So I'll do a wee introduction here, because Scott's achievements is quite significant. Firstly, Scott Cunningham is an MBE. I think we awarded that in 2011, mate. Was it 2011?
Yes, yeah,
2011. Went down to Buckingham Palace, was it? Or was it?
It was Buckingham Palace,
Right,
yeah.
Down there to be introduced and to receive his award, which hopefully we'll talk a wee bit about it. And I don't want to get too much into his history now, but at age 23 he lost his sight, which we'll go and explain. He went through a bit of a kind of dark place with that. Got his first guide dog, and I think it's fair to say, mate, you've never looked back in regards to just grabbing life and offering yourself and being an example of how to live life to the fullest, mate, to the most authentic self, and like I say, overriding and overcoming the problems or the challenges that he had. So the way getting his first guide dog, he set up something called Travis Treks. He was the first blind man to go up Ben Nevis. He was the first blind person to walk the West Highland Way, the first blind person to walk the Pennie Way, and he done so by raising hundreds of thousands of pounds. Was it? Am I right in saying it was maybe £350,000 at one point? Was it
beyond
more
that?
than
Man,
so we're maybe, there's a tremendous amount, help a tremendous amount of people, and even the people I think it's no directly benefiting for his actions, just actually seeing somebody, wow, almost like, well, if Scott can do that, I think I can go to my problems and issues at the time. He done it alongside a lot of players, ex-players for his favourite football team that he'll talk about as well. A lot of ex-Rangers players joined on board, and a lot of the guys who were in the services, it was
Royal Marines.
Royal Marines as well, so it was included in a lot of things as well. So from there, I started running through a friend, completing many 10Ks, went on to challenge himself for the London Marathon, and am I right saying you're the first or the only blind person to run an ultra marathon, mate?
Yeah, no, it was that specific ultra, Glasgow to Edinburgh.
Right, okay. Right, so that was how many miles was that?
57.
56 miles. So we'll move on, and I think Scott will talk. Life continues to throw up challenges for Scott, and he continues to rise up and rise to the occasion and move on and gather momentum, which is fun for myself. Is awfully inspiring. So with that then, I'm going to co-host. It's the first time we've had co-hosts as well with Ian here, and the thinking behind that was because Ian and myself know Scott quite well, so we just sitting having a conversation and sitting back and listening to his experiences as growing up and then as a blind person, how he interprets and feels and uses music to get on with his life. So with that, mate, I'll just maybe start from the start if you don't mind then. Which kind of earliest memories of music been in your life?
Music been in my life, well, thanks for that lovely introduction, very much appreciated. It's lovely to be here with yourself and Ian, Chris and I. Thanks for inviting us down. Music's a massive part of my life now. It wasn't as much grown up, it really wasn't as much grown up my early years, no, primary, high school. In fact, I done 3 years I actually lived in Zimbabwe. My dad got a job over there, so therefore the music scene was a way back because it wasn't as up to date as here. But you know, the only thing that was into really back then in the mid 80s was what was on the scene at the time. You know, a bit of madness, a bit of jam, whatever. I was never in anything Pacific, you know, whether it be punk, whether it be mod, whatever. I just like good music. And indeed, believe it or not, well, every day now we're going to have a wee bit, as your title goes, music is my therapy. Music is my therapy now for what? For everything I've been through over a period, losing my sight has been a gift, but the gift to me is music every day. Every day I wake up and whatever I want on Spotify for a specific thing I'm going to be doing is what taste of fire on music. But back to the early days, a lot of people are he's into whatever we'll talk about later on. But my first gig ever was with a good friend we mentioned earlier on, get the one and only Gary Motörhead, Big Colin Liddell. We went to a lovely gig in the Glasgow Pavilion back in the day, a band called Wet Wet Wet. Still with the t-shirt, still with the t-shirt.
So what age were you then, mate?
I was thinking earlier on, I think it would have been 15.
Right.
15. That'd be back 85, we were in 86, it'd be 85. The one single, of course, Wishing I Was Lucky.
Right.
Halfway through the gig I was wishing I wasn't there, you know. but look what I went on to do, do you know what I mean? Because I didn't really know much of music. Listen, Marty went to the big gig, I remember a few years later at Glasgow Green, and it was just unbelievable. Remember, like you thought half of Scotland were at Glasgow Green that night, if you remember.
Was that the Set of Culture year?
Yeah, 1990.
It was out of this world, Set of Culture, a free gig. I mean, when you get a free gig now, Glasgow, went in a big Marley's transit van, probably a couple of people watching this, I remember that. Don't know how the roof was stood, that's all stood. But that was something else, and that's a gig that I'll remember. I was staying a lot of memories for years and years, and Marty was belting about that night. So anyway, so going from where to what gets me through a day, gets me through, let's not say struggles, because that's a bit negative, but testing times of days, testing times in your life. You know, for me, you need something that's going to inspire you, something that's going to motivate you, something that's going to give you hope. A lot of music gives me a lot of hope, a lot of hope. A lot of music helps me through grieving processes. A lot of, it really does. It's a healer. Music is a supreme healer.
So it's interesting then that it was more like, would you say music to you prior to losing your sight would be more like what everybody else is listening, just going with the flow and what's popular at the time? You enjoyed it, but it wasn't a significant impact really?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Then at 23?
Age of 23, October of 93, space of 3 weeks, the lights went out. So
from like having no problems with your eyesight prior to that?
Yeah.
So on that one day, did you wake up and there was
no,
changes?
I was a follow driver, and then the extreme headaches, they sent us into the Southern General, and in a period of 3 weeks I was back in no sight. So what do you do? You know, I didn't know anybody without any sight. You know, I remember back Mark calling the day, there was the chap there, they called him Blind John, because John Hickey, he's an incredible gentleman who got about with the aid of his stick.
That's right.
But never knew John personally. I never knew any blind person. I never knew him to be a guide dog or how people go on as a guide, as a blind person. I honestly thought that blind people sat in a wee hut at the end of their garden making wicker baskets. I did think that was the identity of their life. Well, that's what I was bound for, because, you know, what career could I get now? What could I, you know, how am I going to manage, you know? So a lot of escapism came into play, because, you know, you've got a lot of healing to do. You're going through a bereavement process. You've lost one of your main faculties.
Because before that, mate, I can remember you as one of the older boys. You know, you'd look up and faded adjoining schemes, you know what I mean? But I can remember my images of you, my memories, of you when growing up. I can remember up at the tap shop maybe Thursday night, we're all hanging about, sees who's going to go and get a care out for us and stuff like that. And the police came up, and you were already there with your card going, I think you were maybe of age at the time. And it was the first time you held court with the police. Seeing you saw the police, you bowled it. And it was the first time I ever saw a young guy, and the police enjoyed the banter. I can always mind that. You maybe had a bottle of Old England, don't you? So it was a bottle of cider, and I thought, you know what I mean? I thought it was a eye-opener. I thought, you know, that man's got a part, boy's got a part, and confidence. So up until then, you know, you're just a boy, a lad, jumping about with your pals, like working and just looking forward to, right, what's life going to bring us. So it was an absolute, understatement to say the rug was pulled under your feet when this.
Back then, you know, we were absolutely, we were a great bunch of lads, still friends with them. You know, we know where we all are and stuff. You know, some take different routes, but we're not still there. You know, we're still in the same area. But then we were still attending gigs. You know, the rave scene was to go. We were at various different gigs all in the country stuff. You know, probably chose a forklift driver, followed the Rangers up and down the place in Europe. But what's next? 23-year-old, here we go, rock and roll, it's all happening. But then the headaches came, and then boom, you know, lights went out. So yeah, you know, what do you do? You know, well, I'll tell you what I'd done. I had about 18 months of escapism. Thursday lasted to Sunday night, and the boys were back at work, and you know, so it was the healer was, you know, the escapism. But whilst the escapism was taking place, I started to get a good appreciation for music. And funny enough, you and I had a wee chat about it earlier on. Been able to, you know, the lack of sight has been such an enabler, a helper for me, because I'm not fixated on what you guys see as a video or whatever. You know, you're following, look, they're brilliant on stage, they'll be fancy jackets or whatever, they'll be a decent hat on, whatever. She's got lipstick. It doesn't matter to me. The light show is irrelevant because I'm never going to see it again. I'm listening for acoustics, I'm listening for the content. Whereas Charlie Heaton earlier on, totally agree with his sentiments. He looks for the content of a song. It's a story to me. It's a story, and it gives me a lot of strength. And who gave me a lot of strength? And it was like counselling back then. It was Robert Zimmerman, more commonly known as Bob Dylan.
Wow, right.
Bob Dylan became a big pal of mine, but he doesn't know it yet. I'll meet him one day and let him know. Tell you some of the guys that I met over a period in the next couple of months. But Dylan seemed to know what I was going through. I was this kind of alienated person. I was going through a lot of insecurities. I was isolated. I was just, no like a Rolling Stone in his song, but Desolation Row. There was, all these incredible words and all these songs that the poetry. I could just resonate with it. You know what I mean? It just meant so much to me in my particular time in my life. And this was a healer. This just gave me hope. It was really gave me hope that he knew what I was going through, and it was just such it gave me so much strength. It really, really did.
So his words was help you process something that you didn't have words for at the time, then, mate. Is that fair to say?
Very much fair to say. That was your title earlier on. That was my therapy. That was my therapy because I'd heard of Dylan's name. I'd heard his name before. I'd never heard his music. I heard him a couple. That's just no for me. But then once I started listening to his words, what he what he was portraying, what he was getting across, as if he was giving us a helping hand. You know what I mean? I wasn't isolated anymore. I wasn't this person just lying in a corner waiting in the Thursdays coming. I was starting to get a bit more, a lot of strength there, a lot of strength. So Dylan became a right good, a healer. It's things that, people listen and watch, whatever, they really need to take a deep dive into wordage and songs. Maybe just eliminate the what they see, get the visuals out the equation, and just think what the message is coming through. Obviously some of these crazy songs these days, the rapping and all that stuff, I can't. That's just a song in your ears, that's a song in your mind. But with the earlier stuff, there's some newer stuff. There's some really, really good stuff there. But at that period of time, this was for me. You know what I mean?
I think in particular with Dylan, it's maybe like you hear words for the first time, but they'll ring true, they'll resonate. You know what I mean? And there's a thing there was a psychiatrist who came out with this thing: if you can name an emotion, you tame it. So bringing words, bringing like a sense of this is what I'm going through to yourself, and it's been shown it. If you know what you're going through, it lessens the impact, and it also helps you emotionally regulate, so you can process any kind of stress and trauma you're going through at the time. So I think for us, our landscape, and like many people, we've grown up in environments where for every family member I know in the scheme around and about, emotions are the elephant in the fucking room, mate. Nobody talks about emotions whatsoever. We're all thinking about it, but nobody. And it's not maybe a denial. It's like maybe we've not got the emotional intelligence. So, see, listening to somebody, and I had similar experience listening to Bob Dylan like that. There was a hope in this scrawny wee voice, scrawny wee man that spoke to something, and it was the same. And I think it's like what you're saying. It was like that hope that you go in your darkest hour, mate. That seems, and that's extreme hope that nobody else could offer me. And courage, the stories that was coming through the songs. You get Tangled Up in Blue. You get, I said earlier on, Desolation Row that goes on for 15 minutes or what. The story goes on and on.
And what else have we got? We've got Fairies still come to mind at the minute, you know.
The Hurricane.
But it's amazing, Ian, it's amazing. Thanks for that, man. I mean, for me, the way it came across, and I've been through some of his albums, then I came across what I mentioned to you earlier on, but I like comfort out as well. I like comfort, strength, and hope again. It was Live at Budokan. Live at Budokan. So I've listened to his, let's say, standard. You know, you obviously Hunter's like great sticks, and then the Blonde on Blonde and all that, and then this breath of fresh air, because it was live. I was there. It was, you know, you felt you were there. Sorry, I loved them in there. But it was these different styles of his songs. But you're listening to it, and you're getting that story relayed in a different context, and it was just fabulous.
A lot more layers to it. Like, I think that was an album that you had listened to as well. Was it no?
Live in Budokan was so we loved Bob Dylan. I was on me and my mates, and a bit like you, Scott. For me, music is storytelling, and Bob Dylan's the finest at it, I would suppose.
Yeah.
And he kind of introduced us. I don't know why Bob Dylan became kind of popular when we were young. I don't think it's just because of the hash thing. I think Bob Dylan just kind of was discovered by our generation. And I think he's the finest storyteller out there. Guys like Bruce Springsteen does it well with the river and stuff like that. I know you can almost feel yourself in the tale of the story. And I think he's just got such a great way with words. Like, Dylan's not the best singer in the world, but how he conveys that music's unbelievable. And I was thinking as you were talking there, Scott, like, see your average guy, especially when you're young, your main form of entertainment in any house we grew up is the telly, right? So you're watching TV or you're reading books. If that's suddenly the two forms of entertainment being taken out of your life because your sight's still there, you're going to become more focused on your music. And for me, music's always been a dead personal thing anyway. I'd imagine, Scott, the situation you were in, music becomes even a more personal journey for you. See when Dylan was helping you through that period, can you remember a time where there was a change in your attitude and you started feeling as though you were going to fight back against this thing that happened to you? Are you going to start on a go at life again?
Yes.
Or was there a defining moment?
Well, I was so lucky in obviously staying that goal. I still couldn't accept being blind. I was still coming through that, you know, the acceptance was the hardest thing for me. Getting through this grieving, bereavement process, but it's with everything. The acceptance is the hardest thing. I wasn't the one labelled blind. I wasn't the one to be blind. I was one to be sighted again. I was one to be back out my car in the driveway, want to be the forklift driver I was, but want to see what I'd seen, you know, pre-October '93, and no listening to the doctors and the consultants and take all this medication and hoping, boom, it's going to happen again. Hope. But you need to turn it around. So I was so lucky back then. Guide dogs saved my life. Why did they save my life? There was two centres back then in Scotland, Forfar, which is still there, and there was a centre in Larkhall, training centres that is. Now, the Larkhall centre, 10 minutes walk for the house, 10 minutes walk. I was still very reluctant to accept a guide dog. You see him walking about there, Scottish, blind Scottish guide dog. I was the one to be a member of the blind community. No, not home here. I'm not accepting it. I was not accepting it. I'll sit in my room listening to you, Dylan, and anything else that comes on the wireless. It's always full with the wireless. Boom. We'll just wait. My mum went down to the centre, got this lady up, and coaxed me in. Let's get a wee walk with a dog and stuff. I reluctantly accepted. Went a walk. She said, this dog's cold, right? We're going to, right, I'll do your training course and see how it goes. I remember the very first day, down at the centre, a residential centre, down Hamilton Street, Larkhall, home for the ranch pub there, and I'm walking. You've got the harness in the left hand, and then when Debbie the trainer always tells us, when she took her lead away from the harness. My right hand went out rigid. I had no confidence, no faith, no thing at all in the dog. I thought he was going to walk me in a pole or whatever. I just wasn't. She took me back a couple of days later into centre. She said, "Look, Scott, this dog, if you don't grow up basically, this dog is going to go to somebody who really will work with it, or you're going up the road." I thought, "James, that's got a bit of an ultimatum here, isn't there?" You know, within that 3-week period, I started to trust this canine here. Number 4's lying at my feet, Lincoln here, he's lying at my feet. But I did manage to gather the confidence to trust in Ike. Managed to qualify, and then but you know, after 3 weeks back up the road and being able to walk around the scheme, going on to buses, going to shopping, you know, public transport. Before that, another year or two doing it, I'm back at Motörhead College, learning how to live and learn as a blind person, learning how to use a computer for the first time, the braille, the voice output basically, screen reading software on a computer, all that stuff.
And see, before you go to your first guide dog, Scott, were you just relying on friends and family to get you a book when you went out of the house?
Absolutely. And you know, you've no independence, you've no confidence, nothing at all, apart from grabbing somebody's arm to get you a book, whether it's up to the pub, whether it's to another pub, whether it's a different pub. That was the extent. Going to different houses, whatever.
How long did you spend before you got your first dog then?
So, lost of sight in October '93, it was in June of '95. June '95, you're talking 18 months. 18 months. A lot of soul searching, a lot of healing had to be done. A lot of acceptance. And you know, see, after I got Ike back to Motörhead College and stuff like that, I was delighted to become a member of the blind community.
Was that your first contact with the blind community? I'll tell you why I'm asking, Scott,
Yeah.
because I can't think of anything in my life that I've went through that I've not been able to be put in contact with somebody else who's went through it, and I've been able to share how I'm feeling with them, or they've given me advice over it, or whatever it be. Before you've met the blind community, I suppose your mum and dad and your brother and your mates and all, the best world in the world, they can empathise with what you're going through, but they can sympathise, but they've no idea what you're going through.
Absolutely. Nobody can. And you know, what about, but people do, let's say, you know, in the simulator, you know, putting on a blindfold, put a light suit or whatever for a wee while, but you know, when you're waking up in the morning, it can be, it is the biggest putting the backside. When you wake up, because most people who've lost their sight, like myself, or went from sight to no sight, still seeing your dreams. The majority of your dreams either are way back prior to losing your sight. So you've come out of a sighted dream to waking and up, that's right, you know what I mean? Boom, right, so that's where music is my therapy. Guys, we're getting a title for this, isn't it? Music is therapy. Look at these t-shirts printing, key rings and fridge magnets. So that is the therapy. Getting up, getting a tune in the heat, and getting a tune that's gonna give you the hope, gonna give you the courage, gonna give you that inspiration and motivation.
Do you need to face that acceptance every day when you open your eyes in the morning? Do you need to face that?
The majority of days.
Right, so it's no something you go to 30 years ago and moved on, it's something that you still need to address.
But we continue to
This is right.
And that's the anchor of your day, that is the start of your day.
Yeah.
So what kind of, I know you probably wake up like everybody else, different moods and stuff like that, so you go certain go-tos for your morning routine, mate.
My morning routine now is, I've still got the mouth tape on, Alan, we can talk about that as well.
Yes.
Get the mouth tape on, thanks to your good self. I'm now a mouth taper, if that's need these t-shirts out as well. Nasal Breathing Society, Lanarkshire branch, here we go. Rock and roll, we're going down it. In fact, I think I've run out my coat, I've gone so far, I've got 2 more to go. Good night, thank you. So it's one of them, it's in the morning I wake up and I'll do my meditation. I bet if folks, you know, back in the day, let's meditate on this stuff, you know, never bother. You know, get your thoughts together, and then I'll fire on a bit of Planet Rock. Bit of Planet Rock. Different locations, different places, different styles of music. You know, it can be a nice sunny day. You wanted something a bit different, maybe a bit of Madam George. For the wee man out in Belfast.
Van Morrison, Astral Weeks.
Van the Man, a bit of Madam George.
Beautiful song.
So you know, you know, a more chilled out day. You know, you can feel the heat coming in the window. Many days. You know, I would say I don't know. Open the blinds, the window, whatever. What the weather's like outside. There's been many days. I'll obviously from November onwards. I'll take Lincoln or whichever dog I'm privileged to have at that given time out to the run to do his business, and I'll no realise it's snowing and I'm covered in snow. You know what I mean? You're away from it's snowing here. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them. But it's just for me in the morning. I've had the absolute pleasure of meeting and becoming friends with Lemmy at Motörhead. And Lemmy said to me, he said, Scott, what's your favourite song? What's your favourite Motörhead song? I says, Lemmy, it's Motörhead, by Hughes, Motörhead. He says, his words to me was, that's a good song to get you out of bed. And it does get you out of bed. The music, the power, and that is inspiring music for me, do you know what I mean?
When did you go to your first gig after you lost yourself? We've been to a few gigs together on the years, and I've met you quite a few gigs,
yes, we have.
When did you take the plunge and go to your first gig after you lost your sight?
Do you know what? It was with a great bunch of friends who we all know, incredible lads, and it was a band, I'm sure you might be one of them as well, the Australian Doors.
Australian
Doors. You were there as well.
I was there, mate, aye.
So, remember Minibus
for Buckshire, aye?
Yes.
Maybe for Jim Wilder's flat, maybe?
Absolutely. So, but that was probably the one of
Wow, was it? Wow.
Then another one, believe it or not, one of the second ones was with Alan and the incredible late Ian Horn went to Oasis's first big one at Ingleson.
I was at that as well.
Sunday night.
Right.
I was at that as well.
Sunday night went that.
And how did you feel going your first gig and venturing back into the world of live music again, under different circumstances? Were you anxious about it? Were you full of anxiety? Were you full of fear about it?
Yes, all of the above and more.
Right.
Terrified. Absolutely terrified.
Let's admit I've avoided that, but do you mean it must have been a bit I knew that had I'm not going to let this beat me type attitude and for it, I'm going to go. There must be a lot of blind people out there that's never done certain things again because they've lost their sight. And you've not let that happen to you, Scott. You've went back out again, been to more gigs than most people probably.
You could be right, Ian, you could be right. Two things possibly. You might be right about man herself, but I've still got a great bunch of pals. Incredible. Wasn't for them, I wouldn't have the opportunity. And also might be some of the kids will water narco as well. It gives you really good strength, I'll tell you. But the nights were really special and it helped me again with the healing process, do you know what I mean? And there was a few laggards and stuff involved and with plenty swally.
Did that help? Did that help you get through at the time?
It was escapism. It really was. We were on the Doors at the time. It was a really brilliant outfit, if you remember back then. You know, the guy was, and I'm sure you were saying, Alan, the guy never looked in and liked Jim Morris, but he surely sounded like him. You know what I mean? Pardon me. So for me, this is what I always come back to as well. For me, going to a gig, it's the most it's the most perfect night out for me because I'm on a par with everybody, apart from you guys, seeing the light show, seeing any of the setups, seeing the dancing, whatever, all the flashlights. That's eliminated for me. But what I'm getting is more quality audio because I'm picking up a lot more of the content that you get. Yeah, I would suggest you guys are fixated on the visual aspect. You're trying to pick up both, where I'm just that's eliminated. So I'm picking up the audio, which is invaluable to me. Do you know what I mean? I got such a buzz with that.
So you reckon the layers to that, you're picking, you know, just like you're hearing a wee bit more. Would you say you're more maybe involved in what's going on? You know what I mean, on a level. Let's say this, but it'd be interesting. You would suggest you listen to that podcast of Huberman, talking about the latest research in regards to the impacts of music, and he uses he says you become the instrument. You know, if you're listening to music on a deep level, because your heart increases and these different rhythms in your body starts going and all that as well. So I think, he speaks about the visceral experience of music, and I think for yourself that we're too often with ourselves, we've got a vision. You're right, we're too invested in our focus and our awareness would be on the napper, on the heat, on the thoughts, on what did it look like and who's about.
Aye.
Where yourself, it's almost like monk level, you're on, you know what I mean? It's like a meditation for you.
Absolutely. I mean, my music taste varies incredibly. Right. You know, I was thinking earlier on of the gigs that I've been in the last number of years there. And I've been really privileged to see incredible acts and locally here, within Scotland really. And the people, sadly it was the last gig in Scotland. I think one this morning. It wasn't my favourite before I went, but what an incredible act Prince put on.
Wow.
What a gig he put on, you know. I think the guy might have been on for close to 3 hours or whatever. You know, well, even a couple of years ago I took my mum and dad to see one of their favourite, Elton John, who was brilliant as well.
Airdrie? Where was he playing?
No, it was Hydro.
Okay.
Hydro. So, but my particular tastes are more like Iron Maiden, we've got to see Metallica next year, AC/DC in a few weeks. So these kind of things. But for me, music, I love talking to people about music as well. To me, there's no bad music. It's just people have got all different tastes. One that I wouldn't particularly go to see is jazz. I'm not a big jazz fan, but I wouldn't say I hate that. I just in my flat, you know, there's Alexa on all the time, and it's different radio stations or different playlists. So you know, you get into different rooms and get that different ambience.
Wow.
Because then you're getting different content and you're hearing different words and bringing you a bit of, you know what I mean? Earlier on it was the band, the Weight, you know, the brilliant, the Weights. Oh man, incredible, the band. Dylan's obviously started off with Dylan. And then you can go into a bit of, you know, in my background when I want to be home, it can be a bit of, but usually it's a bit of planet rock, a bit of motivational, inspirational rock music. And then later on, believe it or not, when I'm chilling out with classic FM on, just to get the tempo down a bit, you know.
So, see when you went to Motherwell College, Scott,
yeah.
Where did that take you thereafter? Because I know you've worked most of your adult life thereafter. How did that change you then, using different technology and rebuilding your confidence a bit and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So after Motherwell College, I qualified with HND in business, admin and management things. And I then became proficient in screen reading software, how to access a computer as a blind person, how to live and learn as a blind person, braille, and again, I was the only blind person on that particular course, and then I'd met some incredible people along the way there, blind people. One of the tutors was in the access course was blind as well, so incredible people I met along the way there, Big Tom Bryce and stuff. These guys had lost their sight a few years before me, so they had they had similar circumstances and life experiences as myself, you know. So they would help me, and we would kind of work as a team, you know.
See, you said earlier on you envisioned yourself basking even in a hut somewhere blind people. Did this give you a vision going forward of what your life could be like, what possibilities, getting out and about, a daily routine in the workplace, earning your own cash and mingling with people again? Did this start giving you a bit more hope and a bit more possibility in life?
Absolutely. And in the meantime, as I've been through college, I'd started going blind skiing holidays to Europe, and that's when you're building confidence because you're basically skiing in mountains, but you're listening to your guide, to your left and right, you know, and that was building up a lot of confidence and making much more a person out you as well, and you learn different cultures, you're learning different people, learning different people's careers as well, career aspects and stuff. And I said, well, look, you know, there's loads of things that you can do here. Just you're never going to see again. You know, just deal with that. And it is, you need to be kind of hard on yourself to be kind really and understand that you're not going to see again, but there are other ways round about doing things. And I'm sitting here now, Ian, and I'll tell you right now, since October '93, it's been the best gift I've ever had, because the things I've managed to do, places I've been, people, incredible people I've met over a period, I would never have done if October '93 had never happened.
I mean, that's a fantastic way to look at it, Scott, because obviously, whether you believe in things happen for a reason or no, obviously that big, massive change in your life at the time has put your life in a total different course that would have been otherwise, a completely different course. I mean, it's inspirational, the stuff you've done for any able-bodied person, regardless if there's another blind person that's listening to this. So you went skiing after that. When did you start deciding to do the fundraising, and did you think it was going to get to the level it got to?
Absolutely not, Ian. No, for me, it's all down to gratitude. It's all down to gratitude. As I've said to you, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for guide dogs, right? Because guide dogs gave me my life back, right? As I said to you earlier on, the fear of walking, the fear of not being able to go out the gate, and then the fear of the future, you know. Dylan was helping other music. Back then it was the indie scene, Manchester scene, then Oasis and that it was starting to kick in, I suppose, and stuff like that. But for me, guide dogs saved my life. So to me, I owe them everything, you know. Always say if they gave me £100 million in morning, it wouldn't be enough. So I started, I've never fundraised.
What was your first step into the world of fundraising then?
So what it was you might remember, there was a wee hall running Strother Hill, they call it Pensioners Hall. We used to be local community hall.
Right.
I hired that out with a wee fundraiser in there. Just a wee kind of disco raffle and stuff like that. Used to got £100. I was delighted, maybe five or whatever. Everybody's feedback was great, and I just thought, how can we make this? And then we were in the gym one night, big cooler. David Nat was there as well. I think Ross was there.
So you got to the gym at this point as well with the boys in?
Aye.
And they're looking after you in
Absolutely. The gym also? Again, it's gratitude. The gratitude to Big Cooler there, Big Colin. Ross was there, Hoodie was there. The gym, and then it was discussed with the parachute jump, and I thought, a parachute jump? I'm on a guide dog 2 by this. No, I could been incredible. Now on a guide dog 2, Travis was guide dog 2, and I was Big Colin and West Island Way. So didn't know where it started, didn't know where it finished, let's do it, you know. And lo and behold, 6 weeks later we're at the start line. Jamie came up from Wales, and we didn't go and do an awful lot of research, we didn't do the most training, but we finished that, and then towards the end of the week, they found out that I was going to be the first blind person to finish it, so I was going to finish it. And during that, like Susie McGuire and George Bowen, the Radio Clyde, got a hold of us, the Daily Record. They started gathering momentum, and then they sorted out transport for us to get back, because we didn't work out how we're getting back down the road. You know? Let's get up there and we'll work things out, you know what I mean? It's the kind of larky style, you know? Let's work it out, yeah. Just get there first and then see what happens. So we're up there after a couple of days, and Susie's got us live on the radio, and help you, this is we need a limousine to come back, and you know, a couple of cases of beers, champagne, dog biscuits, and a couple of foot spas. And she got all squared away. And it's all brilliant. So, brilliant company in Glasgow laid this on, and I had loads and everything ready for us, and it was quite a journey back down the road, I tell you. Quite a journey. And then the press had taken hold of this scene, and it was quite momentous. I didn't realise how it was all going to unfold. It was quite crazy.
Did that lift your spirits a lot?
It really did, because for me, as I said, guide dogs does and always will mean so much. And for me to be able to give them, it was over £12,000, right? So I as we left that, we raised £500, I'm bit over the moon. And then we're at 1,000, and it's just piling through the week. And then
was this pre-social media and all?
Absolutely.
So without even the publicity of social media, you still raised that kind of money?
Yeah.
It's quite impressive.
Absolutely. For me, it's giving some back to guide dogs. For me, all I want is, you said it earlier on, if I can inspire somebody, sighted or no sighted, able-bodied or no able-bodied, to get off the couch and get out there and enjoy the fresh air, life's better than just sitting on the couch. It really is. But more so, some blind person in Scotland to get the independence, the confidence, and enjoy the life that I've been so privileged to enjoy over 32 years now, having a guide dog.
And where did you and Travis go for there then? Because these Travis Treks, as you named them, became quite a thing, didn't they?
Aye, so the following year, we ended up doing the Speyside Way. We called it a tartan trek up into all the way to Buckie actually. It was for Avonmore to Buckie. No, all the distilleries and things like this.
Did you get a wee drama out of every one of them?
I wasn't a whiskey drinker in Dublin, believe it or not. Oh no, that was a downfall. That was a downfall. We John McGibbon and all the guys here, incredible. Thank you, John, for getting all together. And we had incredible stories all the way up to the finish line. Incredible comics came out for the last day and stuff as well. We raised, it was well over £10,000. So each time, this is where it get really interesting, and it gathered momentum quite immensely. £5,000 then he named a guide dog, but you could name a pup, you know.
Right.
And it was at that juncture with Susie back then, because she had helped us so much, we called one Susie, right? And the other one, my inspiration, called it Lemmy. Lemmy's publicist got a hold of us. This is how it all unfolded.
Right.
Lemmy's publicist got a hold of us because we're about press. He's on the phone to me through the means of a radio station. I think it was Talk Sport wasn't it? I think it was just called Talk Radio UK or something. And then Lemmy's publicist, would you come on? Lemmy's going to be on this show. Would you come on and tell Lemmy all about that. I'm over it, man. So it was a Saturday night, and we're thought they're Lemmy and the one, and then they phones us up and says, right, there was a thing like what you're right, he'll be on in a couple of minutes, you're the thing. And then the boy Ian, he'd come on and he says, Scott here for Scotland, Lemmy, he's got something to say. And I says, Lemmy, there's this song. He says, I says, look, named a pub after you, Lemmy, you know, and he says, here's the story. He gave him the background, you know, and Lemmy, he was fair taking a back on us. And he says, Scott, I'd like you to come to the next gig in the Barras, next one in Glasgow, up with the Barras we're playing. I says, Lemmy, I've already got tickets. He says, well, better than that, I want you to come backstage and meet us and tell us all about this pub.
Wow.
I says, Lemmy, I'll be absolutely over the moon. So you can imagine me that Saturday night trying to get asleep, you know what I mean? If that song didn't motivate you enough, I'm high on Shot's mast, you know what I mean? I says, wait a minute, I'll need to get a wee thing to calm us down here, another couple of beers, and then the Sunday I'm telling him, yeah, here we go, we're all sorted. So we went in the gig, the usual courtesy couple of beers there, you're bouncing this music, I'm listening, the big man there, he's getting along there, and go and meet him later on. We went in, and I sent you the pictures earlier on.
Yep.
Oh, and it was just incredible, you know, backstage. You're expecting backstage. John was McGivern and Ross Gilroy and Dan Bartlett were there the year before. We were invited in, Ross and Dan, but with some pictures here as well. Following year, John was there, and he's the lovely photographs and this big framed. And can you imagine in the gig, you know, we're in the gig and trying to, no one security in the bar is like any. What's in your bag, this bag? And you hear the bouncing, what are you getting in with that? It's Lemmy's invited us in. Oh, listen to this, you know, this is what that's blind fella's in with his white stick and he's got a picture of a dog. What's going on here? You know?
Do you, just for listeners, do you not take your dog to gigs then? Do you always just go with your mates?
No, if you recall in limited gigs, absolutely. You met Milo at a Paul Heaton gig.
I did remember that.
Paul later on.
But I've seen you many gigs without the dog as well.
Absolutely. Whereas it'll be far too loud.
Right.
It wouldn't be the right,
So
it wouldn't be convenient.
Motörhead's definitely no for the dog.
No, because I'm not going to hear for a couple of days. And if the dog doesn't hear me, then I'm bothered. Hear no evil, see no evil. For me, it's just not happening. Health and safety all round. You know what I mean? That's where I will be confined to barracks again. I was well getting a mouth tape on and just went in bed for a number of days, you know what I mean? So it's one of them. It was just, so we're in there, and finally his publicist came down, listen, here's the story. He's speaking to the head of security, and we go in with this carrier bag here, framed picture of a pup on it. Away in, and there was a most surreal thing backstage. As I say, you're expecting glamorous, aren't you, backstage? It's the amount of famous people that have been in there. But John and Ross there, they're telling us pretty dingy and pretty straight. But there's this, and you get beer everywhere and all the rest, and all the lassies for 7th Heaven, they're telling us they're on as well. And Lemmy, I don't know why he's popping in and out of the toilet, but read his book, you'll find out. But I'm guarantee we did not partake with a couple of beers, a few beers even, and a few beers more. But Lemmy was so down to earth. Read all the books, read all the documentaries, a genuine man. Rock star, rock god, incredibly powerful, inspirational, very motivational music. It really gets me going. But for this icon to take time to invite me backstage, you've got the pictures there, Alan, of this incredibly cute wee pup with the Motörhead stuff round about it, and the big man was speechless, absolutely speechless. And he wanted to ask me about my life being blind and how much his music kept me. I says, it keeps me going no end, Lemmy. It's just what I want to it gives me so much inspiration, motivation. And he's really interested in everything, absolutely everything in life. And you still read that, you get a conversation with him about absolutely anything. It was no into sport. I remember that night I had my Scotland rugby jersey on. He said, I'm not into that. I like a bit of snooker, he said, but I'm not into football rugby or anything. I like a bit. But then he said to me, this was just, I've got some for you, Scott. Here's one of the plectrums I played with on that night. He says, when you're back in Vegas, I said, look, I've never been to America. He says, well, just give me a minute. Next thing he wrote, he says, here, there's my address and my phone number. Still in the house. You know, please give me a call. We're going for a drink tonight when you come over. That would probably finish me right now. I'm going for a swallow with Lemmy. That would be a one-way ticket, wouldn't it? Just sees another. But you know, for the big man to do that, I just showed you what a human being.
Yes.
You know, he didn't know me for Adam, he just knew part of my background.
Right.
And for me, gratitude pays back. It always does pay back. I was given, you know, I'm extending my gratitude to him for the music that inspired me, motivated me to basically, you know, get in that backbone, do the walks, but then I'm telling him, thanks so much, Lemmy. And he's named the pub after him. And he's giving us the gratitude back to say, listen, I'm wanting to invite you over for the last drink you're ever going to have, because I'm going to, you know, the Rainbow Grill and all the rest of it. Obviously there's a statue of him outside there now, because he's so iconic. There's people that speak about him all the time, you know, Dave Grohl's, all the time. And I can honestly say, you know, back to Avon Road and that call that night, I was, you know, absolutely buzzing, holding this bit of paper, the plectrum, all the wee bits and bobs that they gave us. You know, it says, look, keep on with this. Unbelievable. And of course, very sadly, he had got his publicist had told back, that was the kind of conduct, the publicist, to give us the backstage passes for his next gig, which he sadly didn't make because he passed away before he was due to come back. And I've still got that backstage pass, obviously, in the Estate Centres.
You know, Scott, having known a lot of the boys you're talking about that you grew up with, that you've said have been prolific and helping you out through the years, and some of I mean, you're talking a lot of big hairy ass guys here and all, and Lemmy out of Motörhead is a big hairy ass guy, but there's a lot of big hearts out there, and there's a lot of kindness being shown through the kindness that you've shown others. You've talked about paying it forward and gratitude, and I think you've brought out the best in a lot of people there as well.
I hope so, but I'm no here to sit here plaudits or platitude. But what I'm saying is, and I'll always stand by this: if you extend gratitude will come back. I always say the karma, but good things will come back to you. Good things will always come back to you. I'm sitting here now with the grace of God in the NHS, because I had a massive heart attack. I had a make 11 weeks ago tomorrow, and I'm just so lucky to be here. Really lucky. And I was talking to Alan the last couple of days. Listen, I still got, I'm still raw, right? I'm raw for that. That's the second heart attack in 2.5 years. I'm only here thanks to the grace of God, the NHS, and being fit and healthy. And you know, I sometimes, music still gets me going, gets me emotional, because music is my thing. Music is my thing. For instance, telling Alan earlier on there, I'm sure I was lying in Hermeyer's Hospital after they gave me this life-saving emergency treatment. Another couple, I've got 5 stents now and all this stuff. But I'm lying in the cardiology care unit that's called basically intensive care, and I'm reaching, because I need music, as I said to you earlier on, I'm reaching for my phone. Pardon me when the missus give my phone in that, and I'm going for a bit of Spotify, and what are you going for first? I thought, right, come on, you'll need to get this emotion, you'll need to get this through your system, you know it's there, it's backing up in your head. Let's go for a bit of Gabriel and Kate Bush, sorry. Peter Gabriel, Kate Bush. Don't give up. I wasn't going to give up, because I'd just been given the most amazing chance of life again that day by NHS, the best youth in the world. And boom, here you go, there a waterworks on. And I'm not feared to say the waterworks come on. Waterworks come on quite often, but I'm delighted they come on when I'm in the shower, because I can just, nobody's coming in, because even if somebody did come in, they wouldn't care about it. But
and that helps you release what's building up inside of you then?
it's essential, it's absolutely essential. And what one got us going tonight, it was a James one, I'll probably remember, I'll come back to it. It's no one in the I'll come back to it. And the shower, right, boom, there you go. And James was like, probably I'll come back to it. It's no She's a Star, it's no one of the right kind of thing. No. But what I'm saying is, and then I thought I need some that's going to give us a bit of the playlist at that particular time. Then I spun right on to Big Country Chance, because I want a bit of the Scottish inspirational, motivational music. It's going to help you dig deep, and it did. Chance is a song that I do reach to now and again.
For me, it's Big Country's best tune. I think Stuart Adamson's quite an underrated songwriter. We spoke about this before we started recording. We've got a mutual friend, Big Derek Dodds,
Yes.
Big Chubby, known locally.
Yeah.
He's a super fan of Big Country, and he's kind of introduced, tried to be kicking and screaming at some of the early gigs actually, but I really enjoyed him, and I think Stuart Adamson, and I think his songwriting ability is out of this world, so the Chance to me is the finest moment.
I'm glad you told me that earlier on, because Big Derek will take me the next gig he doesn't know yet. He'll learn that tomorrow, because
Derek will gladly do that.
We'll look forward to that. I last seen Big Country down at the Wickerman Festival a number of years ago, and they were phenomenal. Motown, sorry, but Motown was playing, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas was playing that gig as well. That came to me. Love my, but I'll come out of Motown in a wee minute. So, but after that one, again, in these circumstances, you need songs. I feel you need a kind of soothing song, a song that's going to break you up, and then you're going to dig deep. Chance, and also then straight on to Alex Harvey, the Hammer song, which again it's got a kind of Scottish industrial element to it, which really is telling you, come on, let's dig here, you've got it, but you've got a lot of strength about you, you know what I mean? And that's what really pulled me through.
Do you do everything in your power to avoid getting into self-pity and avoid getting into negativity? Can you find yourself going that direction, and right, let's fucking pull ourselves out of this, music's going to be a big factor in getting your positivity back on again, getting you to get up and go every morning and facing the world?
Yes.
See, it's quite interesting what you're saying, Scott, because you say when you get up in the morning, do your meditation to try and focus your thinking into positivity. Music's helping you with that again, then you're ready to face one day at a time, really. A lot of what you're saying here, you'll hear the guys in recovery from drug addiction or alcoholism talking one day at a time, and they might live a lifestyle where meditation's part of it, or get up and they're trying to focus, right, let's do this one day. It seems a good pattern to recover for anything, I suppose. Anything you're trying to overcome, and you've kind of got a similar outlook on life.
It is, and you need to believe in the process, and sometimes I say believe in the process, because we do the longer miles now, in thanks to Big David, my incredible mucker, who we do crazy miles now, and it's the most mentally, physically demanding thing, but when I say mentally, it's like a counselling session for him and I, because we square away not just the world but any we call it, you know, can be 30, 40 miles of problem solving.
So tell us about how you got for the Travis treks to start with. Now you're an ultra marathon runner. How did that happen?
Well, again, it just kind of, things happen for a reason. They do happen for a reason in life. I say 11 weeks ago at a heart attack, and I reached out to Highland for maybe 3 weeks after it to help out with suggestions for more deeper meditation, and the next thing he's up taping my mouth off. Jeez, it was a hostage situation, so I watched what I'm saying.
It's like Pennie weeks. He's not as quick as a radiator.
Allegedly.
Allegedly says that, sorry mate.
Allegedly. Maybe he's here names.
Aye, no, that was me, says that actually. That was me.
Cut, as I say.
Aye, maybe that one, aye.
Thanks Al for a reason, right? So, the walking was getting just incredible. We'd done basically all the big ones in Scotland, and then the biggest one was the Pennie Way, which is 268 miles, basically Derbyshire, back into across the border into Scotland. I had to fill back in the Royal Marines then, and then again it flourished, and we're getting, it's unbelievable. I think, you know, here I was playing for Glasgow, getting national press, because all day there's been one foot in front of the other, with a guide dog and, you know, sighted mates running about us, listening to music. I remember the soundtrack back then, Big Don, one of the Marines that came on board, he says, right, we're going to play this new band on his backpack, and the band back then was called Kings of Leon. I hadn't heard of them, and it was the first album. I remember getting up these hills, crazy hills, the T-Waits coming over the thing there. I'm quite into them. Before I knew it, the following year, we're doing Hyde Park. Seeing them, the Kings of Leon. It wasn't the best gig, but we went to see them. But for me, I always say that, and I've been saying to Alan through the week there, for me, you guys and ours are going to get home the night with visual images and pictures in your mind. You know, you can see what I'm like, you can see what the dog's like, you can see what Chris Allen's wearing, whatever. Obviously, I'm never going to see that. When I'm out and about on holiday, when I'm a good thing, a good experience or whatever, music or you know, that's my picture postcard. That's my. So for me back then was Kings of Leon. That's why I said, oh listen, they're playing Hyde Park. What are we doing? Because that associated the brilliant memories of the Pennie Way. I need to do and recreate that. But I didn't, because they were okay live, but I wasn't recreating that ambience with the right people, you know, the effort we put into getting up and down the house. So it wasn't there. But, you know, if I'm on holiday, we're skiing, whatever, and you'll hear certain sounds, certain tunes, that's when you associate. There's a kind of video, I'm just deviating back forward here, because these things are coming to mind and they mean a lot to me. There's a cracking video, oh man, London Marathon, we're just turning on the mall, I've got my GoPro on, and it's, what's her name, Kelly?
Stereophonics?
No, sorry, American lassie, I'll come in, it shows you how much I don't want, with the eye of the tiger, what's her name again?
I know the tune you're talking about, aye.
It's a pop song, it's not one you've normally listened to, but it's one of the ones.
Okay, did she win the first American Idol or something like that?
She was married to Russell Brand at one time, I'm sure.
Kate
Perry, dearly Kelly, wasn't that? Started with Kate. So that, you can just hear that as you're coming through. You keep on hearing about that Blackwell tunnel on the wireless. There I crashed in the Blackwell tunnel, so I shut that. But when we were running through that, just at the other end was Set Me Free. Remember that old Brave one? Oh man, you're just needing that wee bit. You've got a few miles to go. Here you go, boom. Wee Kirky, God bless him. that just gives you such a boost of energy. And like somebody just, give you a couple of litres of Red Bull, and that was it. Send me 3, oh, here we go. And then that was bands all the way around, when you've got all your brass bands and drum, all that stuff, the London Marathon, like carnival, it's amazing. And then moving to, I've done Manchester Marathon a few times. For me, Manchester is where it all came from, the music came from. The Joy Divisions and New Orders and then on and Mondays and the West, all these things. But for me, running around the streets of Manchester, you've got all your tribute acts and stuff, but running around these streets and these things, and that city where the music came from, that we all love so much. It just gave you such a, and that's where my personal best at marathon and everything, you know what I mean? Gives you such a buzz.
Chris and I were sound guy that shooted camera. We were doing a few weeks ago, we paid a visit to Salford Lads Club, where the Smiths famously got the photographs taken from Coronation Street.
Yeah. And
I posted on social media, a lot of people were a bit like, what's that all about? Do you know what I mean? But those that know, and then there's thousands of people with a photograph taken outside that famous doorway, just because the Smiths got the photo took. And for me, being a fan of Manchester music, a fan of the Smiths, it was a special place, but to others, it's just another doorway. Do you know what I mean?
It's great how specific you are with music, mate. You really, it's almost like you're talking about, you've got protocols. That's I think it could be, because on the right, see what that process you spoke about at your lowest, you kind of try and break the ice with your emotions with the duet, Peter Gabriel, Kate Bush. Then you kind of get some semblance of, right, what can I do? You've got Big Country, Wee Chance. Moving on, right, what do I need to come through this? I need to get some momentum. You'll play the Man for the Gorbals.
Alex Harvey.
You'll play that. And is there anything, would that be, is it, see moving on for that then, it's like going for that right through, it's almost like you can see how you're actually processing thinking styles through individual specific songs, mate. That's incredible, I think. And then for the line of the scale, you're talking about giving you the boost you need with the all Scottish rave scene stuff, and it's literally lifting you up.
It really is. It's
and is that, see after the Alex Harvey band at Highland, is there another one that you play when you're, or is it just a feeling that you've got right there? If it's got you there or no?
Absolutely. So I'll reach for a bit of AC/DC, a bit of Metallica. It's sometimes a bit heavy for some people, but it's not for me.
But that's a process. That's the end of the process.
It is, and it's just that the natural endorphins, the dopamine that you can only feel if you've achieved it. I always say when I come back with a big run with David, if you've done 30, 40, whatever, or longer distance ones, you come back doing a bit of stretching, you're hydrating and whatever, it can take maybe 5-10 minutes, maybe even half an hour, but you've got that $1 million feeling. That $1 million feeling that's totally free. You can't buy it, you can't take any substance, alcohol, whatever to get that. It's a totally natural dopamine that you're never going to get unless you put the effort in. And you achieve it. It's a total achievement, and see the rest of that day as high as I get on your own supply. And I've got music going through the day to try and bring me down. If I fire on AC/DC or Metallica that day, I'm up through the roof. A bit of Motown, a bit, you know what I hear?
So you mentioned that, so Motown, that's a surprise for me, like, so is what kind of, is there any specific artists, or is it like a kind of the genre that you're listening to a radio, a Motown radio show, or is it, is it more like you listen to like What's Going On, the Marvin Gaye or something like that? Or?
It's the more chilled out stuff, like the style in general, but just mentioned her name earlier on there. Martha Reeves, the Vandellas. Remember that featured in the Vietnam film. Good Morning Vietnam.
Right,
Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, absolutely brilliant. Nowhere to run to, baby. So a lot of that stuff, it's chilled but not too chilled, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The only way I'm going to chill out in it, fire on a bit of the old classic FM there. That's key to me, but certainly different styles, different, Uncle Sandy always say, different strokes for different folks, do you know what I mean? And that's my thing with music as well. But as I said earlier on to Ian, it needs to have a leg. So that's why it's such an electricity about Alexa being in different rooms, you know what I mean? You're hearing the different vibes, you know what I mean? It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
You've got quite an eclectic taste, which is great, right? You spoke a bit about Lemmy there. What other artists have reached out to you? What other experiences have you had over the years with gigs and meeting some of your musical icons and stuff like that?
Again, I've been so lucky and so privileged over a period there where, again, it's gratitude. It really is being thankful to them for the gift that they've given me personally in their music. For instance, maybe start with, there's been a couple, two or three, pardon me. I always like to go back to, it's memories, let's make stories, make pictures with music. And then if you think about Dignity, Deacon Blue, sailing up the country, villages, the West Coast and all that stuff. You get a picture, you know, I'm never going to see it again. But you can just see, you know, up through the West Coast, you can see the wee harbours, you can see the wee lights there, you essentially do a bit of meditation at the lights and all the different, and then it's getting daybreak and then you get the mountains and all the stuff there. Our beautiful wee country. That comes through in that song to me. And you know, we reached out, we're still doing the lower key events, and there was a social club up in East Kilbride. Reached out to Ricky Ross. We've named one of the pups after one of, I think it's the Speyside Walk actually. It was Speyside Walk trek. We've named the dog Blue for Deacon Blue, and he came along. Guy, so thanks very much, Scott. I said, well, Ricky, I want to talk about your music. And he said, bro, the way you interpret is totally different from, you know, because I'm visualising what.
Well,
you know.
I know the song Dignity is a huge song in Scotland, right? I know the song very well. I was a fan of Deacon Blue. I've never heard it described the way you just described it. It's as though you've consumed it in double chunks that I have. And I'm a big music fan, Scott. I know the song inside out. I've listened to it a million times. And I kind of visualise music myself. How you've described it, I've never heard it being described like that before.
I think it's having that void now, in, you know, 32 years. So it will be 32 obviously in October. Yeah, maybe it's just a thing that happens over that period as well. But for me, it continued really with one of our favourite bands here, the Charlatans, who had a great pleasure, privilege to a couple of drinks after the Charlatans gig at the Liquid Rooms with the boys, and Martin, good mucker Martin there, went through and invited us a couple of beers there. Talked to Tim, lead singer of course, and I'm telling him how I interpret. It was that album, the Country Boy, and how I interpreted some of their songs locally, you know, Walk Up Down the Hill, my lone walks with Travis at the time in Charleroi and all weathers, and he couldn't believe it. He loved that, he absolutely loved that, because it's a totally different aspect of what he wrote the songs about, do you know what I mean?
Right.
And he was loving it, because I'm telling him how, you know, through the mud, the rain, the wind and everything, I'm loving it, and I've just got one earpiece in. It was an iPod back then, remember the wee iPods? And the wee, it was all wireless, the headsets. So, that was Tim, thing, and they gave some side stuff for this is the way it works, you know. You tell these guys who's given this beautiful music.
You wonder if these guys fully know or fully appreciate the impact their music has on other people. So some of the guys I've been listening to since I was at school, I almost feel as if I know them because I've listened to their music that much.
Yes.
And I'm a complete stranger to them, and so are you, do you know what I mean? You wonder if they know, when they've started writing that song, that bit of art and put it out there, the impact it's having on the world, and that's the beautiful thing about music, though.
That's what they love to hear. That's what they love to hear. Then get on to another couple of heroes to many people. We ended up doing a Pennie reunion out at the pretty infamous Tan Hill pub where that Everest advert was out on the Yorkshire Dales there. We held out the barn and you know we sold it out there, and it was Tom Hingley for the carpets, the spiral carpets, and Peter Hook joined us in the New Order. Incredible human being. He gave us so much. Joy Division, unbelievable. The Joy Division sometimes will fire on some of their tunes, you know, obviously deep and pretty meaningful as well. The incredible Ian Curtis, God bless him. In the barn there, and talked to the guys before the gig, both of them, you know, what their songs meant to me now as I've linked how I interpret the Joy Division, the New Order, the Hookie. These guys I was doing the fundraiser the night was a Manchester reunion gig, and they came for awards, and the Larky boys that came down says, if you remember that gig you weren't there, it was just like a thing me again, and most of them didn't remember. I remember it all because I was organising, don't worry, some brilliant photos and stuff like that. But for these guys to come out, you know, take the time to come out there. Hookie drove all the way up. Tom was doing his gigging at the time. Hookie just came out because he knew what was happening, what the music meant to me personally. And I was just wanting to give something back after that Pennie Way, because that Pennie Way meant so much to us, becoming that first blind person and absorbing every day on that Pennie Way. It was a different accent for me. So it started in Derbyshire before you knew. The next day was Manchester, Cunningham kind of accent, and then you're getting into more Yorkshire, and then it's Newcastle before you're coming into Scotland. No, a different accent every day. It's amazing. So, but yeah, to talk to the guys about what their music meant to me, it means a lot to them. It really does mean a lot. And then get on to Ferrano to Travis as well, when they knew Travis the guide dog and stuff, you know, smashing bloke as well, absolutely. And he gave us some artwork to auction as well.
How does that work then with that dog being called Travis? Did you pick the name of the dog's name?
So
and then the training phase of the dog?
Yeah, so we as guide dog owners are given a dog with a name, right? But if you raise X amount, I know it's went up in the last few years, raise X amount for guide dogs, you have the ability to name the dog after somebody or something that means a lot to you.
Right.
So over a period, there's Lemmy, there's Susie, there's Blue, there's there was named another one, Travis, and then there's one for the Marines who support us over the years as well. I'm running out of fingers because we've raised that many, and you know, I've grown my toes now, and it's really been really grateful being able to, you know, give this gift back to blind.
How did this lead up to you being approached by an MBE then?
I was nominated, so you get nominated, you get a letter in from Downing Street to say you have been awarded. Do you want to accept it?
How did you feel then when that letter came through the door?
Disbelief. When you get a letter from Downing Street, you wonder if you've been up to something. You wonder what.
Finally caught up with you, mate.
Aye,
You got to have to phone a lawyer at that point, Scott.
That bowl at art shop there, Alan, you know. It's all coming back now. But the letter, what you do is you send back the yes, thank you letter that's, and the envelope is provided. That gets back to Downing Street, and then you get a letter a number of months later to tell you where the location will be. It's either going to be Holyrood in Edinburgh or Buckingham Palace, and lucky it was Buckingham Palace, and it was the incredible Princess Royal that pinned the medal on my
That must have been an incredible day for you. Did you take the family down with you? Was your mum?
family came down, yeah. The family came down and get all the photos at the famous quadrangle they call it when you get into the gates.
You'll need to forward on a few of these pics to put up on Oscar. I know you gave us a few pics. I've seen the photos before, but it'd be good for the guys that are listening to see some of these as well.
Absolutely, I'll do that tomorrow. Yeah, it's incredible, you know, it's a crazy, unbelievable feeling, you know, from that place, the darkest place, reaching for escapism, relying on music was my therapy, to get through, and with the help of such incredible people to achieve what I've been really lucky, privileged to achieve over that period. Raise incredible amount of money thanks to really kind people all over the world. I've been able to give that back to the charity that gave me my life, and then they gave me this medal. All the way for a council scheme in Larky. It's been amazing. But really grateful, really grateful. And I'll tell you, the Princess Royal, such an incredible lady. You know, I'd met her twice before at openings of the RNIB Centre in Edinburgh. I to let her know how to work a computer, a blind person for a few months. And then I met her with the late Queen at Holyrood Palace. And you know, she said to me, what have you been up to since the last time we met? So amazing. But we had a great day, we had a great night down in London then. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Yeah, so then after that, the treks went on. We went up Ben Nevis that year. With some of the former Rangers players, with Terry Hurlock, Mark Haley, and that was captured. And then we, with the press and stuff, and again, the money was pouring, and it's the kindness through the world is just incredible. It really is, because you let people know exactly how it's changed my life personally, how it can and it will change other blind people's lives. It's pretty crazy. And after that, the running just took shape as well, because at that time Milo had taken an injury, couldn't walk, couldn't trek, and God bless him, Kirky got us, I said, Mum, try running. So we tried running Strathclyde Park, very quickly got an entry into the London Marathon, and the following April we ran London Marathon. I've just told you the soundtracks here, but I remember of that day paints the picture for me. And it was such an incredible day, finishing along the Mall there, that famous area as well in London. Getting through all the streets of London was pretty incredible. And then one of the saddest days ever, I took a heart attack the 22nd of October 2022, 22. 6 weeks after that, so did Kirky, and we lost the wee man. We lost him.
Devastating stuff for you.
It still is, and it's really hard to process and to think about the wee man every day. His legacy to me is not just a friendship, it's a legacy of running. I would never run if it wasn't for him. I really wouldn't. And think of the wee man every day. But we're thinking about us all, we never let we get back out running.
Is that your intention to get the running shoes back on at some point, even though you've had a recent heart attack? Are you going to stick with the walking?
I will be doing whatever the doctors tell us. I've got another appointment Monday, the one today, and I'm really hoping we get to get the running gear back on. And get some miles in, but we'll see how it all goes. Early stages of the recovery. At the minute, I say there are a lot of emotions. There's no any pain anymore. It's just the mental and emotional scar that's there,
Well,
which is pretty.
I'm pretty sure with what you've spoken about so far, what you've overcame, you're going to be able to deal with this or not, mate. Do you know what I mean? You've definitely got
absolutely
a positive attitude towards things.
100%.
Given the fact our podcast called Music is Therapy, we normally ask each guest to pinpoint a favourite album, a favourite track or a favourite band at the end of the podcast. So now's your moment, mate. You gave us such an eclectic amount of music there. If you're going to give us a favourite album, favourite artist, who would it be?
Well, you need to go back to the start, wouldn't you? Which got me on this journey, and we will go back to Dylan. We'll go back to Dylan there for that one. I mean, I could give you, you know, more motivational stuff at the minute. I've got to see AC/DC in a couple of weeks. You know, Back in Black is pretty spectacular to me, in particular. The full story of the AC/DC, you know, the band story, sorry, and Brian coming on board, and the Scottish element, the Scottish backbone of the band as well is just surreal to me. So that band means a lot to us as well. Really does mean a lot to us.
I think it's just a show you know, with your recent challenges, and I was going to call them setbacks, but see for you, see listen to you, it's more adjustments. You just adjust and move forward, mate. And I think we've come on, you know, you've spoke about your struggles to accept what happened to you, and then coming forward in acceptance and the power of that. And then the cherry on top is the gratitude for life that you've got. And I think, no, we asked you, and I think it was ourselves when we started this, I think it was yourself, Ian, and says you mentioned Scott straight away, mate. I think I've asked you, and we've asked you to talk about your relationship to music, mate, but I think it's been, for me, sitting here listening to you, talking about gratitude, it's been more about how you live your life.
You need to be positive, but you need to understand life is all about problem solving. Every day is going to give you challenges, but there's always a way around these challenges. It's how you perceive them, how you undertake them, how you just navigate them each day. If there will be people who help you with your problem solving, there's ways around everything. For me, at the minute, it's key, and I always tell everybody, hydration, nutrition, sleep. You've got us heavily into breath work now. It's immense, it's absolutely immense. The more you put in the body, the more you're going to get out of the body. But just keep in mind, if end's achievable, you know, end's achievable. I mean, that, my first heart attack, I got 4 stents there, 50 weeks after that, exactly 50 weeks to a day, and it was exactly 30 years to a day that I was lying and still on general with the lights kind of 50 weeks after a heart attack. I became the first blind person to run in the Glasgow Edinburgh Ultra, and that's only because of the support and care I got from the NHS, and then the incredible support for David Mooney, incredible human being who done all the training with us and gave me all the inspiration and motivation and running techniques and support as a great friend. And we've managed to achieve it. It was teamwork, and incredibly on that day, I always go back to, you know, picture, well, you couldn't, because it was blowing a gale, it was raining like, no, all these weather warnings, don't go to the house, you know, no one wouldn't take his boat out and that, but we're running to Edinburgh. It was stupidity, I definitely, but it was the ultra, the come for the world, all that stuff, the first blind, but it didn't matter. All I wanted to do was get to Edinburgh. I was just wanting to do that. The place had been booked the week before a heart attack. I built up the fitness, built up all the inside my head. I knew I could do it, but again, it was teamwork. And the song that day, believe it or not, was Billy Joel, Piano Man. There you go, Billy Joel, Piano Man. It's quite a long song. It wasn't. It didn't take the 13 hours, 25 minutes and 18 seconds it was we ran to Edinburgh. That's how all it took us. But the song did take a while. It came up well.
I think we've just been given a nod by the tech man there that the storage is running out there, so I don't want to get it cut short or anything like that, but I'd like to end it, just to give it the respect it's due, with a start, a middle and an end here, mate. And it's just, like I said to you before, we'll come down here and ask you to talk about your music, but it's been on many more levels than that, and I'm absolutely grateful, and it was an honour actually to sit and listen to you talk there, mate, about, I could be doing a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4 as well, mate, you know, and hopefully maybe
Watch this space.
down the line we can maybe just revisit some things, and I think for myself I sit here in a better place as a result of listening to you, mate, and it's changed me, and it's changed the way I'll listen to it, and I'll listen to the music, Motörhead, and you know, all the stuff, and I'll re-listen to it, and see when I listen to Dignity now, mate, I'll never know listen to that song if I think about you now. So absolutely, mate, and that's just, I'll just thank you for the bottom of my heart, mate, to come along. It was always no problem when we worked it out, mate. So, and I'll just with yourself, Ian, would you like to say anything, mate?
Scott, I could sit here and chat to you all night, mate. I know you pretty well, mate. I know a bit about your story, but it's been inspirational listening to it tonight again, and you have inspired me. The gratitude you've got for what you've overcame, what the importance of helping each other out. And all, I think you've got a lot of good people around about you, a lot of good friends that's helped you over the years and all, and I think that's, I believe even more so in Karma now, listening to what you've said there, when you get out, it comes back to you. So you have been inspirational, and I hope other people who listen to this get out what I've got to make. Can I shake your hand before
you get a
pleasure.
Thanks so much, Alan. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure coming here tonight, and I hope people do take hope from what my story's been so far. It's certainly not the end of the journey. And please don't dash out and buy Katy Perry CD. That was only the one song I don't know, I couldn't even tell your names. But for me, it's just, it's having hope, and keep in mind, life's all about problem solving. It's no a sprint, it is a long race. But you need to enjoy it, and when we're doing our longer miles, it's one step at a time. It's one step at a time. You're not going to go out and do a race. No, I've got 30, 40 miles a day. Oh, I'll need to pack that. You're going to pack it in, but it's a step at a time, and that's what life's all about. But you need to be super grateful. I am super grateful to all the mates I've had for school, all the way along, all the whole period of my life, and up to my incredible friends right now. More so the NHS, as I said to you, I've had 2 heart attacks, and we're still got a number of lives left. My mother says I'll get more lives than a cat. She comes to the door with a saucer of milk, she can chase the door. I'm not identifying as a cat. But please, I just want to give people hope. You know, I was in the lowest. I was basically, I was lower than I got. You know, I couldn't get any lower. I didn't think there was didn't know any blind people. I know loads now, a lot of people know me, because, you know, you can achieve what you want to achieve, and there's always going to be support, and there are ways around anything, ways around every obstacle in the world. Just keep believing, and keep on, which is my mantra, as you know, Alan. And please, thanks guys, thanks for inviting us in.
Thank you, mate. Pleasure, mate. Thank you, and thanks for tuning in.